Any public input tonight, Robbie? Or Director, I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. Ann from Moyer Road.
Hey there.
Want to come up to the microphone, please?
Do I have to?
Yes, please.
I would like to know what the status is of the development on Shawnee Road up on the hill, the 53 acres.
This is the subdivision between Shawnee and Town Line?
Right.
Okay, that has not come to the board yet. It will. It's at the planning board level now under sketch and site plan review.
Okay.
So if you want to speak with the planning board chairman and attend a planning board meeting, when it's on their agenda, I'm sure you can come in and look at it.
Okay, I thought it was supposed to be on the agenda for today.
Not here,
No?
and it may be on their next planning board meeting. That's probably what it is.
Okay,
But we don't have it on our agenda, but if you want to check with the, is it on your agenda, Tim, for the next meeting?
I don't think the agenda's out for the next meeting yet. What the point in the process where that subdivision is we've done a coordinated review under SEEKR,
Right.
the State Environmental Quality Review Act,
Mm-hmm.
and we're waiting for some supplemental information that was required as part of that. So, the next step would be for the planning board to recommend in favor to the town board for SEEKR. Then it would
We
be
did address
preliminary plat,
SEEKR, but
and then
that's
it
as
would be
far as
final.
it's got.
Because this has been going on for years now, so I'm just wondering what the holdup is.
Well, sometimes subdivisions can take a long, long time, especially when there's certain reviews that have to be done, environmental reviews. Sometimes they go to the planning board, they make several changes. It can take quite some time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Elio D'Angelo. Hey, Elio, how are you?
Good evening, everyone. I'm here representing our subdivision, Country Meadows. I have been lobbying for a few years to try to get our street repaved. It's in terrible condition. Okay, even my grandson, last week, I picked him up to bring him to my house. He's 10 years old, and he says, "Papa, your street's in very bad shape." You know, and I've been lobbying for this repaving for years, even when Art was in the superintendent office there, okay? And he says we were on the list. Now, the new highway superintendent, Mr. Stigman, I approached him a couple times, and he says the money's not in the budget, okay? And this how should I say this? It didn't happen overnight. It's been years I've been asking for repaving. The curbing on our island as you enter our subdivision has been chopped up by the snowplows. Okay, I know it's a very hard turn for the fellows to make. Either that or have the highway superintendent reduce the island so there's more turnaround for the plows. Okay, and then at the end of the subdivision, near Furchin, there's a water receiver there that's about 6 inches below the ground. When you go in there, you're going to get whiplash every time I leave the subdivision. And I approach you too, Mr. McSwan, about this. I told you about it. Okay, it's a hazardous thing. Someone on a bicycle goes in that, and they'll fall right off their bike. You know, I usually don't complain unless I have a legitimate gripe. And all the people on our streets are very upset. And I know a few of them have called, and they always come to me, "Al, see what you can do." Well, I came to you, I went to the highway superintendent, and all I get, there's no money in the budget. Then I read the newspaper, and I see the town wants to put a bid in for a school, to buy a school, where it's going to cost the taxpayers more money. You're going to have to maintain that building and everything else. Let private enterprise buy that building and put it on the tax rolls, okay? Because if you buy that building, you're going to have to maintain it, and it's going to cost considerable amount of money. All right, we don't need it. We have beautiful buildings right here if someone has to have a meeting. And if you're talking about a satellite station for the deputies, the 2 deputies we have on the payroll are doing a beautiful job for this town. I see them all over here patrolling. We don't need any more expenses. Okay, let's control cost and get our priorities, keeping our streets in good condition. and safe for the people in this town. That's all.
Thank you for your opinion.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank you.
it. Dave Botticelli, I believe?
Good evening. I'll make this quick because I got 3 of them here.
That's
so.
okay.
I'm coming before you guys with an idea to propose. I was wondering about moving the Christmas tree lighting to Fairmount Park. The reason being, it's a great park, it's huge, and it's pretty much unused. There's a sledding hill there. There are like pine trees that, you know, could be decorated with the lights and stuff. There's a stage for Santa to be at. I just thought it's a great opportunity to use the park for something wonderful that could really bring the town together.
Okay. And, you know, this is something we can discuss with our recreation director about possibly doing something different at the recreation department over at Fairmount Park.
I don't have anything prepared, but I mean,
No, that's fine, and your suggestion is accepted, and Mike is sitting right here, our recreation director, and it's something we can talk about, and if the town feels it's the way to go, we'll absolutely consider it.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes, please. August 5th, 2019.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes approved. Approval of the minutes for August 28th, 2019. A motion, please.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Minutes approved. Bill payment of September 9th, 2019. Voucher number 2019 through 2019-1667 for the total amount of $744,572.74. A motion, please.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Bills are paid. Department heads, Paul Siegman.
Just a couple things here tonight. I'd like to know if the board would accept the highest bid of $4,550 for a 1990 Great All. I don't think we're going to get any more than that out of it. Scrap, it's worth about $2,200. Do you want to make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion on that.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye for the...
Aye. Aye.
The other thing is, chipper's out now. It's been out. They've done the town. I come here every month to talk about the chipper, but it seems like that's the thing that takes up most of our time. When we start picking leaves, the chipper comes off the road. I can't have 2 crews doing leaves, another crew doing chipping. We don't get nothing else done then. I only got so many guys to work with, so if you got brush, put it out. After I usually say about Columbus Day. We probably won't have the chipper out much. We'll be out maybe once or twice before the end of the year, but it won't be out on a regular basis because my guys will be doing leaves. I gave you guys a letter for Burkholt's Fire Company. They wanted to request our help just to dig their blacktop out in front of their bay doors. They're having concrete put in, as long as that's okay with the boards. I know we have a contract with them in our fire contract to
How
help
soon
them
are they
when we
doing
can.
this, Paul?
What's that?
How soon are they planning on doing this?
Art sounds like he wants to do it before snow flies. They want to put the concrete in. This is the first, I mean, he's mentioned it before and I didn't know what his schedule was like, and he gave me the letter tonight, so.
Okay, well, this is the first I've seen it, so I mean, what's the scope of work exactly?
Basically just dig out, I'm sure there's probably 4 or 5 inches of blacktop in front of the doors between the bay doors and Niagara Road. Dig that out, and then they got a company coming in that's going to do the concrete work, stone work, I guess. I asked him what they wanted to do with the blacktop, because I don't want it, and he said that the Lions Club would take it down there for fill, somewhere they got some holes or something.
Any thoughts, gents, on this or no?
Is this something we've done for the fire halls in the past?
We work with the fire halls on various projects. We've done stuff with all of them. I mean, it's kind of, we have the agreement with the snow plowing and all that, but we do help the fire halls out with this stuff. It keeps their costs down a little bit too. Maybe they'll ask for a little less money next time.
We're gonna do this during our regular work hours, we don't come in on a weekend?
No, it'll be regular work hours, no overtime.
Okay.
And you're not removing or busting out any concrete, anything like that?
No, he said it says concrete in the letter, that's wrong. It's actually, he actually meant to say blacktop.
Well, I'll accept the fact, as long as we're not using equipment, to break out concrete, which can be tough on equipment. Removal of the blacktop shouldn't be that difficult. I'll make the motion to help out Burkholz. Can I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And the only other thing is, Mr. D'Amadio, if you guys wanna get rid of your island out front, so it doesn't, get your people to sign a petition. I'll gladly take it out, 'cause we get sick of hitting the thing with a plow. I've broken more wings on that thing. I mean, the problem is that these islands are expensive to maintain. I can't afford to have guys come, I mean, like you said, can't get your road done 'cause I have a lack of money. I can't put new curbing and stuff around all these islands, and we do hit them with the plows. When we turn, we're about 14 feet wide when we're making a turn like that, and I don't think you're gonna see that entranceway is about 12, so they gotta bring the wing braces in. Sometimes they knock the stuff.
Can you make the island smaller?
Not really, not with the curbing and not with recurving it and all that.
Take part of the curbing out and just reduce it down so they'll have a wider turn as they come in? Because my wife and I, we maintain the island. We take care of the signs, now the signs are already well shot, we gotta replace those. Okay, but if that island could be smaller, it has a little more radius to make their turn.
Right.
You know? I understand it, stuff, that's what I'm saying, I understand that.
Well, I could take a look at it, but like I said, if the ultimate thing is, if it's hard to maintain and the curbing's all busted up, if you wanna I always tell the board, as long as I get a petition from the residents on the road, I am more than willing to take the islands out, because it does take out a big headache for us. But that's all I had.
And what about the paving? Do you wanna talk about that tonight? Is that
The what?
the paving on that subdivision?
On David Drive?
Yeah.
Wasn't scheduled for this year. The problem with that is, that's not the original blacktop. It was paved probably, I'm not gonna say within the last 10 to 14 years. Art paved it once. But then they put the addition onto the subdivision, so all the big trucks pounded the road. That's why it didn't last, it got eaten up. It does need paving, but I had some roads that were a lot worse, some roads that hadn't been paved in over 25 years. And that's what I gotta kinda go, I mean, you guys know I got a budget to work with, so I try to go by volume of cars and the actual condition of the road. We do go down and try to patch it, try to take care of the holes. I'm hoping maybe next year we can get on the list, but the list keeps getting bigger and bigger. We've been doing a lot of paving, but it just, it's hard to catch up. We should be doing 7 miles a year, at least.
All right, Paul, thank you.
All
I
right?
got two things, Paul.
Yep.
Number one, about a year ago, we met and talked about, or the county did, about Walmore Road. Any update on the county doing Walmore Road?
It won't be this year.
Okay, they said they were gonna start this fall, that's why I'm asking. If
Well,
that bounced across there Sunday?
they talk to me about as much as the state does. Like, I didn't even know they were doing Ward Road till somebody mentioned it to me. The county was supposed to start it this year, but then I heard they had some other problems. If they do start anything, I was told, I think it's the bridge that they're gonna replace this year, and then do the rest of the road next year. I'm really hoping they get to it, because they're supposed to put a new intersection light at Ward and Lockport. I'm over the resetting that light all weekend long. I don't wanna put any more money into it. I mean, you guys know what the lights cost to have that all replaced, and it's gonna be part of the scope of that project when they finally do it.
And the other thing I have is, we're probably gonna approve the paving on the Fairmont Ring Road tonight. If I remember right, the service road that Mike has going to his facility in the back, where it crosses that path, it's all cracked. Am I correct in that? That should probably, I don't know if you could help him out, because we're only gonna accept the bid on top. That should probably be dug out and have some binder placed in there prior to the overlay.
Well, is that part of that project? Oh, it is.
The binder replacement is? No, but that should be excavated and placed with a binder before they come in and run the ring road.
When do they plan on coming and doing that?
Well, we're gonna award it maybe tonight.
Okay.
Weeks.
We'll see what I can do.
Sooner than later.
And I'm gonna say one other thing about you talking about the extension going down David Drive. We always make people put up a bond, sure. That bond is good and it's done. the failure comes years later, just like you said. It cracks, the moisture gets in and freezes.
Yeah,
So that
it doesn't
bond for a
happen
year
the
or two,
year,
that's great.
it doesn't happen the year that they're
No,
making the road. It
no.
happens 5 years later,
Absolutely, 100%.
okay?
That's all.
Thank you, Paul. Rich Donner, Water Sewer.
Good evening. I'd just like to say that my guys did complete service work on all the grinder units in town with the help of summer help. We're trying to catch up on the hydrant side now, go around and check them all. And in a matter of hydrants, I'd like to thank Randy for giving me an early heads up. About 3 weeks ago, he was cutting his lawn and somebody decided to drive off the road and take out a hydrant in front of his mother's house, so I got a phone call from him right quick that there was water leaking, so as I was heading up there, the fire company was sent up there, and dispatcher from the sheriff's department's on the phone to me too, letting me know that there was an issue, so we got things taken care of right quick, and I'd just like to thank Randy for a call on that. We did put the new hydrant in a couple days later, and I'm waiting for the police report. It's been 3 weeks now, and I still don't have a police report on it, because they're telling me it's not finished yet, but as soon as I get that, we'll send a bill out to the insurance company and get it taken care of. That's all I have.
Everybody thought he was under the influence, but I think he was having a
He had a
reaction.
medical issue,
Yeah.
so it wasn't drugs or alcohol related. But he skimmed the telephone pole and took out the hydrant, so it didn't go in our favor that night.
Okay. Thank you, Rich. Of course, the assessor is retired and the town is looking at applicants for the new position of assessor. Constables, Roger.
Good evening. For the month of August, we've had 10 calls for service, which includes house checks, citizen complaints, law enforcement assistance, code enforcement assistance, fire department assistance, and court assistance. We've had one response to a medical call, no animal complaints from the SPCA. One ticket was issued, and we participated in 2 community events. Total mileage for the month was 387. The community events was the active shooter drill at the Holy Ghost School, which included fire department, EMS, and other participants. The second community event was a town picnic. During the month of August, the constables constable department was able to send 3 people to Oriskany, the New York State Preparedness Center, where they were taught active shooter, initial response to active shooter course, and we completed our quarterly training, which was defensive tactics. This is the first time ever that we were able to have the officers to refresh defensive tactics, which is necessary to do our functions as law enforcement officers. Other than that, that was the activity for August. Are there any questions for me?
No. I understand that training in Oriskany was very interesting, very educational.
Well, they use simulations, which
I heard.
people are actually shooting at you.
I saw some of the welts.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roger. Mike, I'm going to hold you till the end. We're going to bring you into executive session for a few minutes when we get there, okay? Arlene Manty.
Donuts.
That was a real struggle. No, that's kidding. It was very nice. Had a lot of fun. You know, every time I take tomatoes in there, they ask me what they are. I said, look, I'm just a messenger. And my wife is very Italian, so I haven't got a clue what they are. Yeah, they are ugly, but there's a joke like that, and I won't say it. Okay, Arlene, one thing I want to do, okay, just one sec. Arlene, is that I met with the Undersheriff Filicetti last week, and they offer a program for seniors where they come out and talk to you about fraud and scandals related to senior citizens. And they said they would love to come out and talk to our senior group. And yeah. Okay. But they have a gentleman now that's what he does. He travels around and visits the seniors. So I will give you the number and the contact information. And he said he would love to come out and speak with you folks on a Friday and talk about senior scams and yeah, there is. So, but Arlene, if you give me a buzz, I'll give you the contact information. And he said he'd like to come out. Okay. Okay, Judy.
We're starting to have meetings because the seniors are going to be 50 years old on May 15th, 2021. And we started having meetings on that. If any of you guys want to come to one of the meetings, let's see what's going on. We're going to have a dinner. Maybe in Adams or somewhere.
Okay.
We're starting at the very beginning.
That's great. Would you? Okay. Well, if you would keep us posted and let us know when you meet. Okay. I appreciate it. Okay. No, please. There you go. All right. Thank you, ladies. Wendell, Tim Zuber.
We have nothing before this evening unless there's any questions.
Okay. You know, Mike, let's. Do you have a report tonight? I'm sorry. Okay, come on up, and then we'll.
Good evening. So we're all set with summer and spring activities. We had a slow start with the weather in the spring, but the summer ended up being fantastic for us. It was really good t-ball, coach pitch, and all the baseball and softball leagues. Banquets, we had a really good turnout for those. The town picnic, constables were there. There was a lot of people at the picnic this year. It turned out to be a very nice day for us, even though it rained kind of overnight and delayed our setup. But everything came together and it was really good. So now we're shifting gears into the fall over at the youth center. Kids went back to school last week. We kind of give them this week to get back in the swing of things. We're going to open their doors back up next Monday for our nightly program. We have ladies exercise classes that will be starting soon. Our Nerf nights, our pre-K class we have Saturday mornings. We run a basketball clinic for the boys and girls starting in October. We also, with Niagara Wheatfield School District, we have a shared service program, walking club. When the nights get cooler, we do get access to Eric Road for a free walking club for all residents. You just got to come see me. We give you a card. That's kind of your entrance fee to get in to walk in the evenings, Monday through Friday. I want to say it's from like 5 to 7 p.m. while the custodians are in there doing their thing. Other than that, we're just plugging along.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Anybody have anything for Mike? Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
Mike, if you'll just stick around for a few minutes, please. Thank you. Motions, Matt Brooks. Yeah. Okay. Justin.
I am Justin, town historian. The next program of the Historical Society of North German Settlements will be Woodworking, Wedge, and Edge, the Old Pioneer Way, the 1800s, basically, early 1800s, where Tim Roberts of Appleton, New York, will demonstrate the old methods of woodworking and the use of different types of wood. He has assisted in restoring 1820 buildings in Palmyra, New York, and volunteers at the Niagara County Historical Society. The meeting will be Thursday, September 19th, 2019 at 7 p.m. at the Wheatfield Community Center. The public is invited to attend, and refreshments will be served. Again, this is the next meeting of the Historical Society of North German Settlements, otherwise known as the Dows House Museum. And starting in early October, tickets will go on sale for our annual dinner, which is open to the public as well. So, that's all.
Thank you, Justin. Motions, Matt Brooks.
Okay, thank you. First motion is from Wendell. In accordance with the seeker requirements, the town board has reviewed Part 1 of the EAF and supporting information, completed Part 2, and evaluated the impacts in Part 3, and has determined that the proposed rezoning of 2181 Lockport Road from Part Industrial to M2 to Part Residential and Part Residential to R2 and Part Commercial C1 to all Industrial to M2 will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment and therefore issues a negative declaration. Parts 1, 2, 3 of the EAF and backup material, and the town board authorizes the supervisor to sign the EAF, which will act as a negative declaration.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Seekers approved.
And then next again, Wendell, on the same issue, whereas the town of Wheatfield has received a request from JBB and LAB Enterprises LLC to rezone land located at 2181 Lockport Road, SBL number 132.04-1-40, from Part Industrial to M2, Part Residential R2, and Part Commercial C1 to all Industrial to M2. And whereas the Wheatfield Planning Board recommended in favor of the rezoning at their July 17, 2019 meeting, and whereas the Wheatfield Town Board held the required public hearing on this proposed rezoning on tonight, September 9, 2019, and whereas the Wheatfield Town Board has determined the proposed rezoning will not have any significant negative effect on the environment and has issued a negative declaration, and whereas pursuant to municipal home rule law, the town board is proposing to enact a local law which proposes to amend the town zoning map as follows. Be it enacted that the town board of the town of Wheatfield, New York, that the Wheatfield Town Board amends the town zoning map as follows. Rezone the parcel identified as SBL number 132.04-1-40 to Industrial 2 M2. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning code of the town of Wheatfield be amended as follows. To amend Local Law 1, 1988 of the Code of the Town of Wheatfield, Chapter 200, entitled Zoning, to provide for a change in the boundary of the zoning map whereby the zoning of the parcel of land identified as SBL number 132.04-1-40 is changed from Part Industrial 2, M2, Part Residential R2, and Part Commercial C1 to all Industrial 2, M2.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I'll second it. A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from the town board. Whereas the town of Wheatfield has received a letter request from Rosal Homes dated August 12, 2019, requesting 2 building permits for 2 model homes in the Woodland Patio Home subdivision. And whereas model home building permits are traditionally issued by the town to a developer on the condition that certificates of occupancy will not be issued until all necessary prerequisites are completed by the developer, including the dedication to the town of roads and other public utilities. And whereas the developer understands the standard conditions will be required before a certificate of occupancy is issued for the 2 model homes, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Wheatfield hereby authorizes the Wheatfield Town Building Department to issue building permits for 2 said model homes, and certificates of occupancy shall not be issued for said model homes until all the necessary prerequisites and codes are met and adhered to.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion. Whereas the town of Wheatfield has received information from National Grid that the buyout of the National Grid streetlights in the town of Wheatfield is offered at the price of $51,639. And whereas the town of Wheatfield wishes to proceed forward with the purchase of said streetlights from National Grid and continue forward with the National Grid streetlight LED conversion plan, now therefore be it resolved that it is approved that the town supervisor is authorized to move forward with the purchase agreement with National Grid, subject to town attorney review and approval, and for the purchase of said streetlights located within the town of Wheatfield, and the town of Wheatfield is authorized to move forward with the National Grid Streetlight LED conversion plan.
On the question, I have a short presentation I'd like to put on before we move forward.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
is National Grid still maintain them when they go out?
National Grid will,
I mean, currently now, they will.
they will.
Yes.
The same way that we're doing, like we have the machines for let's say we call Grid, everything is going to be.
Okay, because I know the other one, through the power authority, we were gonna have to supply.
Correct.
I like the idea of National Grid takes care of it, that's fine.
Yeah, I have a question. Is there a minimum wattage that you have to have, on the corner street lights?
There's no minimum, we want to make sure, especially on the corners, that we have, comparable wattages so that it's more acceptable.
Because when you're turning from Whitmer onto, from the boulevard onto Whitmer, you can barely see the street, it is so dim at nighttime. This is Nacogdoches Boulevard and Whitmer Road.
You can take a look at that.
All right, so take a look, because you cannot see the street at all.
Yeah, this would be a good opportunity to, if anybody comes out here, very quality, you could drop that.
If you're looking at roads like that, going down Walmart Road, from the boulevard down towards Village Mall, that's in there. There's not a lot of street lights, and it's really dark. It's trying to turn into somebody's driveway, I can't see it.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll take a look over there when we go, so we can,
Are there any other towns that have, went into this program?
yeah, there's lots of towns that have gone through this program, we could, every, to do it, and there's other towns that do it as well. I'm not familiar with exactly what other towns, but it feels like a lot of towns do it.
I noticed the street light, but is there gonna be any chance Buffalo this past winter, they started converting their traffic lights over to LED, and they found out because the LED does not get heated, the snow was actually freezing on the lights, issues at the intersection. Are we gonna have that same kind of issue with the street lights, that it's gonna freeze up?
I hadn't heard that, so I will ask that question, to the grid,
Yeah, good question. Yeah. I thank you, Kurt. Appreciate it. And, just so everyone knows here, the entire town board, Kurt also, especially Kurt, put a lot of time into researching, the LED lighting, whether to purchase, or to lease. And, I think we came up with the best, all-around decision for the residents and for the town of Wheatfield. And as Paul said, there'll be no maintenance, they'll have to take care of their own. It essentially will still be their system.
You don't realize how many we call in a year. A lot.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Any comments, gents?
Let Kurt make the motion.
Okay. I'll second. Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Once again, Kurt, thank you for all your efforts, and all the rest of the board members also.
Yep.
Okay, next, motion, to approve and authorize the town supervisor, Don McSwan, to sign the proposed contract with Municipal Solutions Incorporated dated September 10th, 2019, to provide financial services related to the issuance of bond anticipation notes and serial bonds, if appropriate, along with other general financial services, including continuing disclosure filing requirements related to outstanding debt for the calendar years of 2020 and 2021.
Have a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from Building Inspection to authorize the Building Inspection Department's request to purchase IPS contractor licensing software and implementation and maintenance services from BAS for a grand total first-year cost of $3,725 to be paid from the 2019 Building Inspection Department budget.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
And then there was one, there'd be two, I guess, but first, the first late motion was from the Recreation Department to hire Karen Rafter as the ladies exercise instructor for the Recreation Department at a rate of pay and jobs terms pursuant to the job specifications for the Parks and for the Recreation Department, subject to Human Resource Department approval and a Niagara County criminal background check.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
And then I believe, and I don't have the full terms, but there was the
Do you have that, Kathy? Okay.
opening of the repaving project at Fairmount Park, and I believe it will be a motion to award the contract to Ken Young Paving. The lowest, most responsible, and only bid received regarding the contract for that repaving, Ken Young Paving, the amount of $65,550.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor
On the
signify.
question.
Yeah.
Just to let everyone know, we're getting reimbursed. We have a grant that's paying half the price, so it's a 50-50 match grant. So the town's responsible for half of that amount.
And did we put that to a vote? I think we started.
Not yet. I interrupted the vote.
That's okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That is it for the motions.
I think there's one more. I think Supervisor McSwan was mentioning something about Purple Heart. Party. If you want to explain a little bit, Don, what the county did?
Yeah, the county, I think everybody's aware that either a veteran or a Purple Heart recipient had a huge ceremony on River Road for all the Purple Heart recipients in Niagara County, and there was over 600 people that attended. And surprisingly, they were expecting 300, but they found out that it was not just close family members, it was aunts, uncles, grandchildren, anybody related to someone that had a Purple Heart. It was quite moving. I was there. But the county is now, in their public buildings, having a reserved parking place for a Purple Heart recipient. And I think, Larry, if you want to put it to the motion, we were looking at doing the same thing here at our town hall, having a parking place designated for a Purple Heart recipient. And as well as the handicap, we'll have the Purple Heart parking. And we'll come up with a sign that says Purple Heart parking only. So I think it's a great thing. The county's a great thing.
I'll second your motion.
Thanks. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That's it for the motions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Councilman Larry Hellwig.
Couple things. The veterans group is been pretty active here the last year, and if you haven't seen some of the work they've done on the helicopter and some of the work that's been done in the town hall campus here, they're getting ready to move the helicopter and the tank, and I think preparation work's already begun to put a concrete pad in there. And in doing so, they're a 501c. Is that the?
It's 501c3.
C3. Okay, sorry. But we have a 501c3 that's like a non-for-profit type organization, and the group has asked me for some computer help, mainly to get the GoFundMe page going, and I've got all that paperwork here just to let folks know, the town board know that we're going to have a GoFundMe page for the veterans, because to make this successful, we're going to need community support and donations, which they've already started receiving, and hopefully this GoFundMe page will go a lot further.
Thank you, Larry, for your help.
You're welcome. The census 2020, Doris Leadersdorf and Don D, we worked really hard in 2018 to add and correct a lot of the address points. Just last week, or almost 2 weeks ago now, we received this back from them with corrections, and they're questioning some of what we did, and we're stumbling through that now. I think it took us a little while to get the program installed, and going through, and they're only open from 8 to 4, so trying to get a hold of their hotline in Albany or wherever we're calling, or Washington D.C., it's a little rough. They're questioning some of our address points. We got people that live in businesses, and they're not too accustomed to seeing people that actually have a kitchen and a bathroom and a bedroom in a business, so they're saying, well, this is a business, how can anybody live here? But Doris, we're going through all the motions and, you know, everything we gotta do to dot our i's and cross our t's and make sure we got every resident counted, because tax dollars pays what we do here at the town. So without getting every person counted, and if we get a big head count, which, you know, Wheatfield's growing, some of the communities aren't, our sales tax dollars are fixed for 10 years. So in another 2 years, we're gonna get another influx of tax dollars, we hope. And that's just on what we did in 2018, and then we haven't received it yet on new construction. And in the month of September, we're gonna get 20 days, you know, and they don't give you a lot of time to react to this. But we just approved 2 model homes on Forest Parkway. So every new building permit that's being submitted between now and April of 2020, I believe, we can make sure that those address points are counted, and we can have those people be solicited for head count when they do the census. So it's very important that everyone participates in this. It's really helpful for the town. People that don't participate in the census, it's not going to help our cause a lot. Hazardous waste pickup. We have, it's on the town website. I think they're doing it right behind Town Hall, right, Supervisor?
Yes.
And it's on Saturday, September 21st. There's a whole list of things you can recycle and turn in, and a whole list of things you can't. But similar to the same program that our Croning had out there, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago. But they're going to have their trucks and the equipment here to pick everything up on one day at Town Hall. I think you have to pre-register ahead of time. They don't want you just showing up on Saturday. The drop-off, they don't take latex paint. You gotta, there's rules that you got to obey, because if you come here with stuff that they're not going to take, you're going to be taking it home with you. I think that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
And there would probably be quite a crowd, because if anybody's been to one of the hazardous waste pickups, it doesn't involve just Wheatfield. It's Pendleton, Cambria, Town of Niagara, and Wheatfield. So the constables will have 4 vehicles here to regulate traffic coming in and out. So hopefully it'll move smoothly.
And the event saving, last time we did the event, it was a Wheatfield event, and we ended up paying almost like, even though we had a grant to cover part of it, we still ended up paying like $30,000 for that day. We don't have to pay a nickel for it. The county is actually sponsoring this event, so it's there's no cost to the town, but they're helping our residents in this area of the county eliminate hazardous waste.
Yeah. Thank you, Larry. Gil?
I don't have anything.
Thank you, Gil. And Kurt, you have anything else?
Yeah, real quick, the Comprehensive Plan Implementation Task Force has our next meeting coming up on September 17th, which is not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, 6:30 at the Community Center for anybody interested in coming out. 2 main things we're going to be looking at this meeting. Number one is we're going to look at a new name for the group of volunteers that gets together and looks at community betterment, which I'm really looking forward to, because saying Comprehensive Plan Implementation Task Force is a mouthful. And then the second thing is Niagara Falls Boulevard beautification is another key objective that we're looking at. So anybody interested in getting involved with that, I'd love to see you out there, September 17th, 6:30, Community Center.
And it's a good cause. I mean, it's kind of the gateway to Wheatfield. I mean, Ward Road at one time was kind of the gateway, but with the boulevard, I mean, there's some areas that are very nice, but it could use some work to make it more appealing as you're coming into the town of Wheatfield, and also to make it more identifiable. So I think the group has a great mission, and hopefully it'll work out well. Randy?
I'm all set.
All right. I just have a couple things tonight. I met with the Undersheriff, Mike Filicetti, last week. One of the things he brought up, and I thought it was interesting, I just got these today, otherwise I'd have them out. It's called the Yellow Dot Program. So if someone has a health issue, they can put this yellow dot, it's a sticker that's weatherproof, on the back of their vehicle. And if they have a health condition, this card would be in the glove box, identifying the condition and the problem, and they'll know right away as soon as they see this yellow dot on the back passenger side or driver's side window to go into the glove box and identify it. These can also be used in your home, and they suggest that you put it in a freezer bag and put it in the freezer, but it also gives a fire company, if they happen to respond to an accident and they see this yellow dot system, they'll know that there's a health issue right away when they get to the scene. So I think it's a great thing. I haven't had a chance to put them out, but we can make them available either in the clerk's office or my office. I was going to put some out tonight, but we'd have yellow dots all over the floor, so I won't bother with that. But I think it's a great program, as well as they have many community outreach programs that I was not aware of, and it was a great meeting. And one of those was helping seniors with scams and fraud. So I will have some of these out tomorrow. And if anybody's interested in the Yellow Dot program and the Yellow Dots, you can pick these up at the clerk's office. And if you've noticed, I want to thank Tom Contact for your efforts on the pad back here, and the Highway Department for assisting. Greatly appreciated. I know I was on the original Veterans Committee when I was building inspector, and you know how long ago that was. So it's nice to see your efforts and the town board support to make things happen for our veterans in not just town of Wheatfield, but Niagara County. And if anybody has an opportunity to stop on a Saturday morning and check out the work they've done on the helicopter, they're doing a great job. So I look forward to being back there and having a photograph with you, Tom, when we put that on the pad. So thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
And that's all I have. Anyone else like to speak? Yes.
For new citizens as well as people who have never engaged in these activities?
I'll email Ben the link to the town website and the brochure, so that you can get that in the paper, that'd be great.
Thank you, Ben.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes. Why don't you come down here, sir, and speak on the microphone?
Oh,
Thank you.
too longer to come down and ask a question.
Sometimes questions go on for minutes, so we'll give you the
okay.
opportunity. Go ahead.
Is there any update on redevelopment of Summit Park Mall? And the second question is the bike path that I believe is going to be built along River Road. Is
Yes.
there a schedule for that?
Yes. I don't have the dates in front of me, but I had a meeting with the Greenway Committee, was it last week, last Thursday? One meeting leads to the next, I guess, and they are projecting a construction date, by the time they get ready to do this, but actually looking at the starting of construction in 2022 in the Wheatfield section. They're surveying now. They still haven't finalized the route. It will be either on the north or south side of River Road going through Wheatfield. One of the things that was discussed was the concern of residents to make sure that the speed limit was reduced to create a more parkway effect coming into River Road, reducing the driving lanes. And DOT was receptive to that because if you're going to have a 7-foot grass strip and trees and plantings, which in the long run will be beautiful, but they also would like that speed limit reduced. So your answer, yes, and they're hoping that no later than 2022 construction will actually start. That's one.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other question was?
Anything going on with Summit Mall?
Yeah, we found out, and I can't tell you, I know they are at the planning board level, they're back there again, but Sears was purchased, correct, Tim? Are you aware of that?
That wasn't...
Okay, I received a call from a local representative from the mall, and Sears was purchased. And that was just recently. And I really can't tell you what the use is, but they're hoping to get it started this year yet. So there is been improvements. I know that the developer was at the meeting with some projections for a brewery, was it?
Yeah, the applicant has been in front of the planning board with plans for 2 field houses in the backside, and then in the front, converting that Toys R Us store to a brewery, dinner theater, kind of lounge area. Actually, they've had plans into the planning board for probably a year and a half now.
Right.
They just don't have the complete package in yet. They came in again in August, but still didn't have all their documents done. So the planning board is waiting for them to bring in their final work.
And to my understanding, part of the problem was financing through an American bank because they were out of the country, and I was told again recently that they did receive the financing necessary to go forth. That's all I can tell you.
And that still would only probably be maybe 20% of the floor space of the mall, maybe? Something like that?
If that.
Small percentage?
Yeah. Not much.
Yeah,
I'd hope for more. But we're working on it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? I'd like to make a motion to move into executive session. Mike Rinaldi, would you attend on a personnel issue? Okay, motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.